All right, I want to talk about the bump stock ban. What I'm actually going to do is do a quick review and commentary on an article in the New York Times that's published on November 28th, 2018, written by Katie Rogers. So you guys can look at this article if you want. And the article starts off by saying the Trump administration is preparing to officially ban bump stocks on guns, a move that would put an end to the sale of attachments that allow semi-automatic rifles to fire faster. And that would follow through on an order President Trump made this year to the Justice Department to regulate the devices. Okay, so to break that down real quick, the key word that I'm noticing right away is the word faster. Specifically, they say would put an end to the sale of attachments that allow semi-automatic rifles to fire faster. Now, faster isn't a specific number, is it? Of course not. Faster is to the extent of something. So let's just say if I were to fire with a single shot rifle, non-magazine fed, if I could fire one shot, by the time I unloaded the breech, reloaded it, it might take 5 seconds. So now if I upgraded myself to a Mosin Nagant and had a 5-round repeater bolt action, I could probably get off a shot every 1 second. So now I'm shooting faster. And I'm talking about a single shotgun compared to a bolt action here. And I can still use the word faster. So that's what this is all about, guys. I've been telling a lot of people this lately. This has nothing to do with bump stocks as much as it has to do with gun control, which even in there, the emphasis is on control, not really the guns. They want to control us, okay? And specifically, we're talking about speed, the rate, how fast you can shoot. And they're saying it right here in the initial paragraph. And I think that's what we need to focus on. Okay, next paragraph. An administration official said on Wednesday evening that a formal ban will be rolled out in the coming days to weeks, a timeline first reported by CNN. Mr. Trump, who has in recent weeks hinted that the ban would be coming, first called for the Justice Department to re-examine the regulations after a mass shooting in February at a Florida high school a mass shooting in February at a Florida high school left 17 dead. Okay, most of you guys probably remember what happened there. Trump got on right away, and actually the first thing Trump said is, we'll take the guns first, then the due process later. That's literally how he started off. Take it first, due process later. Well, I think some of his advisors probably get with him and said, hey, dude, that's not really the way this country works. There's kind of like already amendments to protect that. So anyways, he kind of came off of that. But that's how this all started. And then immediately after that, he said, I'm going to tell Jeff Sessions that he's to ban these bump stocks. Bump stocks are going to be gone, etc., etc. So that's basically that paragraph. Next paragraph. The president's declaration set into motion a chain of events that surprised officials at the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, which had already been tasked with reviewing whether the devices could be banned, a directive given after a massacre in Las Vegas in October 2017. Yeah, they were shocked. They were surprised because the Obama administration's ATF, I want to emphasize this, Obama's administration already ruled like 3 times on these and said we can't do anything about them. They're an accessory. They're not a firearm. Still one function of the trigger, whether it's recoil or whatever, your finger is still actuating the trigger every time. So, heck yeah, they were surprised. They were surprised because one of the most vocal anti-gun presidents we've ever had, maybe equal to or tied with Bill Clinton, you know, he said his bureau said it was fine at least 3 times. Okay, let's go on here. In the mass shooting, the deadliest in modern history, a gunman using weapons outfitted with a bump stock device killed 58 people. The gunman fired off about 90 rounds in 10 seconds. Okay, so that'd be the equivalency of 540 rounds a minute. But here's the thing, though. I don't know how he did that in 10 seconds, because if you have a, you know, standard capacity magazine and an AR or an AK like this, you're going to shoot your 30 rounds, let's say really fast, okay? Then you have to reload. I don't know. That'd be pushing it to do 3, 4 reloads technically. I guess this is the initial load plus 3 reloads. It's going to take 4 standard size magazines to get off those. I don't know. Doesn't make any sense to me. Let's say it was 90 rounds even and they only had to reload twice. It's still a little shaky. But anyways, whatever. Let's assume that's how fast he shot. Who cares? Okay, going on here. As recently as last month, Mr. Trump said publicly that a ban would be coming. Oh yeah, he said it. He sounds a lot like Obama with this crap, to be honest with you. We're going to get rid of him. See you later. It's gone. Consider him as good as gone, I've heard him say. Like I said earlier, we'll take him first, due process later. Man, I was a Trump voter. Really thought he was pro-gun. Well, didn't really, but he convinced me that he had changed to being pro-gun. He's been anti-gun in the past, guys. But the NRA endorsed him, which I should have been a little bit leery just because of that. Anyways, so let's see. Here's a quote. So we're knocking out bump stocks, the president said during a news conference announcing a revamped trade agreement with Canada. I've told the NRA, I've told them, bump stocks are gone. He didn't tell the NRA. The NRA is the ones that told him to ban them. Anyways, he added, over the next couple weeks, I'll be able to write it up. Yeah, I doubt that. I doubt he's writing anything, but whatever. Okay, going on here. The initiative to ban bump stocks has been met with skepticism by Democratic lawmakers in Congress who question whether the measure would be enough, that's the key word, enough, to combat the scourge of mass shootings. And then in parentheses, the device was not used in the shooting in Florida at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School. Okay, duh. It hasn't been used in any of these shootings except for supposedly this Vegas one. The move also drew caution from lawmakers who said taking executive action on the device could lead to court battles. Here's what I take away from this, and we all should know this, guys, and the same thing's happening again here. The key to this last paragraph is Democratic lawmakers in Congress who questioned whether the measure would be enough. So they're crying, we want to take the bump stocks. And then they're saying, right away, and I've heard them saying this, whoever wrote this article is correct. They said, yeah, we want the bump stocks immediately. But then they immediately say, but we're not going to stop there, and that's not enough. Guys, it's never enough. You really think for 1 minute that, the NRA and Trump is going to give them the bump stocks and they're just going to keep quiet and leave us alone? Heck no. The minute Trump announced he was taking the bump stocks, they said, well, this isn't enough. So they're going to be trying to come for more. This is just literally showing weakness and showing them that, yeah, if you complain hard enough, we'll give you an inch. We'll give you a few inches. How about a couple miles? We'll give you whatever you want is what this is showing them. And trust me, they're back for more. They are not happy with bump stocks. They've said it themselves. And, yeah, we've seen this before. Okay, and then at the end of that paragraph, it drew caution from lawmakers who said taking executive action on the device could lead to court battles. I sure hope it does. I sure hope there's some really good court battles, because this violates a few core principles of our Bill of Rights and Constitution. When these bump stocks were purchased, they were completely legal. Our government is forbidden from doing what they call an ex post facto law, meaning if it's legal when you got it, and then later it becomes illegal, you can't be charged for something that you did that was legal at the time that becomes illegal later. I think that's a problem. Another problem is, maybe they might change this in the next few days, but as of right now, they're acknowledging how much it's going to cost to replace these bump stocks or compensate, but nowhere in the ATF's memos that I've read or in the Federal Register, the things that have been the proposed rulemaking changes, I haven't seen where they're actually acknowledging they're going to buy these back. So that would violate the takings clause. And then the obvious one that it violates is the Second Amendment, right? The right to keep and bear arms that shall not be infringed. You could make two arguments on that. You could say that bump stock's not an arm, and if it's not an arm at all, then it's totally out of the purview of the BATFE, and they have no right to even talk about it. Well, let's argue in the contrary and say, well, it is an arm. Well, if it is an arm, then we go back to the Second Amendment. To keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. So either the government can't do anything about it because of what the Bill of Rights says in the Second Amendment, or if it's not an arm, then the ATF has no comment. They have no jurisdiction over it. That's the way I look at it. And again, guys, this is all my opinion. Maybe some of you have the same opinion. Maybe you don't. Just wanted to throw out there and, tell you what I think about it. Okay, let's go on here. The National Rifle Association did not immediately return a request for comment on Wednesday evening, but the organization initially supported an ATF review of the device after the Las Vegas shooting. At the same time, the Gun Association had also urged Congress to pass a law that would allow concealed carry permit holders to carry the weapons in all 50 states. Yeah, so this is the so-called give and take. This is what they call the advanced super duper 3D checkers, so some people have said. This is where they're trying to make us think that, hey, look, we're going to trade bump stocks for concealed carry reciprocity. Yeah, see how that worked? Anyone with any common sense knew this wasn't going to work from the beginning. There's not been a time. Look at the so-called Fire Owners Protection Act. Yeah, there was a few things that law did to help firearms owners, and then there was the Poison Hill Hughes Amendment that Reagan signed after he was talked into it by the NRA that promised we'll fight it in court. If the Hughes Amendment hadn't been put through on this so-called Firearms Owners Protection Act, we wouldn't even be talking about bump stocks like we are. We could still have real deal machine guns. We can still have them, to clarify, but we could have modern production machine guns that might cost $1,000 a piece instead of, $7,000 on the low end, up to 6 figures for the high end ones. So anyways, I digress. The NRA, they didn't immediately return our request for a comment. Well, of course they did, and they've already commented enough. The NRA is the ones that told Trump to ask the ATF to look at these to try to ban them. It's completely obvious. There was actually public statements made by the NRA, Wayne LaPierre, Chris Cox. You can go look those up if they haven't deleted them. So not really a bunch of opinion there. Pretty much the ATF asked Trump to ban these bump stocks. And in turn, they urged Congress to pass a law that would allow concealed carry. How about this, NRA? We have a Republican president. At the time I'm speaking, still a Republican House and Republican Senate. We should have had a whole menu just to order off of. I'd like this as an appetizer, another appetizer. I'd like this to drink. I'd like this to be my main course and maybe a couple desserts. We should have been able to pick from anything we wanted and at least get, let's just say 5 passed. Nope. They decided they wanted the so-called compromise. We'll give you the bump stocks, which, by the way, as I said earlier, the Democrats have said still isn't enough. And we will ask you, pretty please, can you maybe put up for a vote, concealed carry reciprocity? I mean, it's obvious, guys, how well that worked out. I mean, where's our concealed carry reciprocity? Okay, and in conclusion here, though he has worked to push through a bump stock ban, Mr. Trump remains a vocal supporter of gun rights and the Second Amendment, frequently invoking it under assault by Democrats. Oh my gosh, that almost makes me speechless. All I can really say is, do you believe that? You're a vocal supporter of gun rights. Let's see here. Under the Trump administration, we've had the Molots banned, high-quality Kalashnikov variants, specifically RPK-type Kalashnikovs, banned from Russia. That's under the Trump administration. Different executive actions that Obama took, like banning the 7 and 6 ammo. Trump could have got that back with his signature. He hasn't brought anything back, remember, guys. Trump has not signed anything to bring anything back that's been, quote, banned. I know he did some stuff where they were messing with the, background checks for veterans and stuff. That's a good thing he did. He's done a couple teeny things, but at the same time, Trump's done sanctions and import bans on a whole mass, factories worth of weapons, Molot, Russia. Now Trump's asked for the bump stocks, and guess what? They're going to be banned here in a couple days. Just remember this. Obama himself, okay? His administration said bump stocks were fine multiple times. And then Trump, has been a vocal supporter of gun rights and the Second Amendment. Listen, dude, this ain't about our double-barrel shotgun. This isn't about us being allowed to have certain guns. This is the Second Amendment. You don't support the Second Amendment by saying, I'm going to trade off something that we don't quite like so that we can get something else we like. That's just not the way it works. Not for me anyways. My Second Amendment rights, and as far as that goes, all of my Bill of Rights and Constitution are not up for trade or bargain or compromise. So he can say all he wants, that he's a supporter of the Second Amendment and that it's under assault by the Democrats. You know what? If Obama was still in right now, we'd probably still have bump stocks because Obama and his administration said they were fine at least 3 times. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that I'd rather have Obama as president. So if anyone's thinking that, that's not it. Just on the Second Amendment right now, I felt more comfortable with Obama in power than Trump. Because when Obama would call for something, all the Republicans would immediately line up and say, no, we're not going to let Obama, Emperor Obama take our guns. Nope, we're going to stop it. And they fought hard against him. Well, now Trump, since he's one of them, one of us, I voted for him. I wasn't going to vote for Hillary, okay? So I voted for him, right? Well, now that he's a Republican and he says, well, we're going to take this, all the Republicans seem to be like, well, it's not so bad. I mean, Trump knows what he's doing. He still supports the Second Amendment. He still got endorsed by the NRA. Look, neither the NRA nor Trump are supporting the Second Amendment right now, guys. These bump stocks are a big deal. And I'm going to conclude with this and go back to the very beginning of the article here. Back to what I said earlier, that key word, faster. I'm going to reread this sentence. The Trump administration is preparing to officially ban bump stocks on guns, a move that would put an end to the sale of attachments that allow semi-automatic rifles to fire faster. Faster than what? Either in the Trump administration itself or another administration afterwards, which could well be a Democrat, or I guess it doesn't matter anymore. It could be another Republican that's within, with the NRA and against guns. Someone's going to need to do another interpretation now. Someone's going to have to add more verbiage to the, National Firearms Act of 1934, Gun Control Act of 68, as amended in 1986 under the Firearms Owners Protection Act. Follow me? Someone's going to have to amend all of this mess later on to say, well, faster than what? So a common thing people are saying is, well, who cares about the bump stock? In fact, here's an example. I was at the local gun shop talking to a guy that I didn't know. I just met him. And I was complaining about the bump stocks. And he's like, yeah, whatever. I can fire faster with my belt loop than a bump stock. You know what? I agree with him there. So can I. And then he says, I don't care about the bump stock. I don't have one. They're stupid. Well, you know what? It doesn't matter if you think they're stupid or not, guys. This has nothing to do with the bump stock. What this has to do with is the bump stock's a device that allows the rate of fire to be faster than question mark, right? So somebody's going to have to come in place here and say, well, faster than what? Because you can only say faster so many times without putting a number. There's going to be a number, guys. What if they say that number is, well, 540 rounds a minute's too fast. So what if they say it's 500? Well, maybe someone would say, well, that's okay. What if it's 400? I don't know. What if it's 30 rounds a minute? And you have to go, boom, click, 1 1000, 2 1000, boom, 1 1000, 2 1000. Well, how can we trust the peasants to abide by that? What if you can't keep perfect count in your head? Think about it, guys. What if there's a device that they could mandate to put in here and make it where when you click, it goes tick, 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 reset, click, tick, 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 reset. I mean, that kind of technology was out in the 1800s to do that. Now, what if they put some kind of chip in here, some kind of computer-actuated device, so-called smart gun, that literally stops you? You could pull the trigger 1,000,000 times, and it's only going to let one round go off every 2 seconds. What if it's every 10 seconds? What if it's every minute? You guys see where I'm heading with this? This is a very, very slippery slope. It's going to make it where if you put in a Geisley SSAE, well, that shoots faster. So that could be modifying your gun to make it more like a machine gun. You could train a lot. Use those little finger exerciser thingies and get your finger really strong where it can fire twice as fast as it could before. Well, now due to your workout regimen, you've been able to increase the rate of fire on the gun. I'm telling you guys, there's more to it than this. There's always more to it. They never just ban something, leave it alone. Especially something like this that's so darn shady, that's been ruled in past administrations. You can't rule on it. You can't touch it. It's not a firearm. It's a simple part. And then now they're saying, well, no, actually the bump stock itself is going to be a machine gun. Here's what they're going to do, guys. Initially, a suppressor itself was considered the NFA item, okay? Quick history lesson for you. Then all of a sudden, a company came up with a bright idea that they would come up with this muzzle device that allowed anyone in the world to hurry up and throw out a 2-liter on there. And the ATF freaked out and said, nope, we can't have everybody running around with a suppressor. So they went back and said, okay, any part of a suppressor, silencer actually is the proper terminology, any part of a silencer is now a silencer in and of itself. That's kind of what they're doing here. We're going to have to see when this ruling comes out. But for them to say that the bump stock in and of itself is a machine gun, which is basically what they're going to be saying, they're going to have to add more wording. And every time the government adds more wording, not only does it take our rights away on its face, but there's more words now that people in, administrations down the road can look at and reinterpret it. And the reason why our Bill of Rights are so short and our Constitution so short is because our founding fathers knew that the shorter you kept it, the more concise it was, it'd not only be easier for the common people to understand, but also it makes it harder for people to mess with it and misinterpret. It makes it harder for people to, do the stuff that they're doing now. So make no mistake, they're going to be adding to the National Firearms Act. They're going to be adding to the definition of machine gun. And since the 86 Hughes Amendment of FAPA said that no more machine guns can be manufactured after May of 86, we're not going to be able to register them. We're not even going to be able to pay the Queen her $200 tax. Okay? Even if we wanted to get down on our knees and kiss the Queen's toes and pay her $200 tax, we can't do it. We're going to have to turn them in, destroy them, or render them inoperable. And maybe, just maybe, they might be willing to give owners of bump stocks their money back. Possibly. But I've not seen that yet. So, this is a slippery slope. It's going to set the rate of fire somehow or another. It's going to really make it hard for people that are trying to do gunsmithing and make nice, crisp brake triggers, short reset triggers, altering the springs on their triggers. All these things are going to increase the rate of fire. And just watch and see what happens. So for any of you that are pro-Second Amendment that say, I don't care about bump stocks, they're stupid, blah, 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 you can say that all you want. But if you don't think about it all the way and change your tune quick, I mean really quick, don't come to me when they're coming to take all your stuff, guys. Because I'm just going to look at you and say, I told you so. You didn't care about the bump stocks, and here you are. Now they're taking your AR-15 altogether. So I hope something changes quick, guys, but the only way it's going to change is if we get these idiots out and stop giving organizations like the NRA a bunch of our money to talk the president into banning our stuff. All right, thanks for watching. Have a good one.